Grant. I'm mute.
I think that's the first time I've actually watched that all the way through. I do. That's the first time I've watched it, and I just sit there and look like Zangief waiting for Blanca to come and electrocute me. It's quite a good video, but
I can't say what I feel I look like.
It's not bad. I've seen worse. Good evening, gentlemen. Anyway, and thank you ever so much for joining me on this. Does anyone feel it's got really dark today on Tuesday? I know it's Tuesday, but cold. I mean, just
colder.
Just quickly got really dark and that. And I just think you can just tell when it's becoming autumn. 1st of September, 2nd of September, and that's it. Kids back at school, life gets back to reality. School runs and all that bollocks, and get shit again, doesn't it?
Yeah. Pretty much,
thank you ever so much. We have got a lot to talk about. And I know we're going to come on to the obvious with deadline day ending yesterday. And I know loads of people did loads of reaction videos and loads of great content and that out there. But we obviously wanted to let the dust settle somewhat before we got into any conversations and just sort of get gauged what was going on. But before we do, none of us have got together and none of us three have had the opportunity actually to have a chat about the result against Newcastle at the weekend. So we've got a few minutes. What do you make of it? I for one felt it was a good point. I thought it was a scrappy, shite game to watch. But happy with the point.
Not one for the neutral.
No, definitely not for the neutral. Like it was. Well, like we'll get on to it later, like about everything that happened yesterday. But I'm quite happy, bar the Arsenal game. I'm quite happy with how our midfield and defense have held up. You know, it was a tough test on Saturday, and granted we didn't create a lot, but we didn't look out of place against them, I think. But like Smarty said, it definitely wasn't one for the neutral. Like,
yeah, it was. Do you know what though? On the back of the two performances, specifically against Wednesday, and certainly against Arsenal, I thought we set up. You know, take into consideration the players that we didn't have available. You know, we probably two of our definite starters, I would argue, in Tanaka and Ampadu out of the team. You know, I thought obviously Longstaff came in against his old club and put a man of the match performance in. I just didn't think we did bad. We didn't really ever look like losing, but we'd also, unfortunately, and I think this is where we are going to come on in a moment to talk about yesterday's transfer market ending and the window ending. We didn't look like creating a lot, did we? Let's be honest, lads. It was a tough watch from an attacking perspective.
I think evidently we were harder to break down, which is what we wanted to see. We wanted to see a bit more of a shift after the Sheffield Wednesday performance. I think we were all a bit like, we need to see a big effort from the lads against Newcastle, and I think we did get that. I think it's just basically very, very telling about us as final third, or our attacking third, to be more precise. It's been left very wanting, and you can see where we're going to be lacking and probably struggling for the rest of the season. Obviously, we'll get on to why we think that might be the case later. But yeah, I think it was very telling from our. I did think Nonto did okay. I thought Mecha had a very, very good game battling against their two big off centre backs. I thought he kept him busy.
At the back, didn't they? They played three.
Yeah. He kept him busy, and he won us a few few free kicks and stuff like that. So yeah, he's a good target man to have, Metcha, especially, and with the right starting 11 as well. I was just a bit gutted that he decided to go with the starting 11 that he did against Newcastle and not have that similar sort of setup as versus Arsenal, because it were crying out for that sort of system. With Longstaff in the middle, who was fantastic, really. But he definitely left a few on Bruno as well, didn't he? It was nice to see. But yeah, I thought Metcha did okay. Dan James, still a bit of a question mark over his ability and the quality that he's going to bring to the team going forward this season. Hopefully Okafor can add a little bit extra, but I thought Nonto did well, and I think the rest of the lads did really well. Strike for a change, I'll sing his praises. I thought he did okay, but then they didn't really offer much anyway. I thought Trippier's, when you look at like Harrison and Aronson, I'm not going to start slagging them off or anything, but their usual set piece deliveries are relatively average to poor. I thought Trippier, who's renowned for his good deliveries of set pieces and stuff, I thought he were actually pretty poor as well, to be fair. So they didn't really offer a great deal either. And I think we probably had the best of the chances. Gutted for Calvert-Lewin. I thought he might have made it 1-0 right at the end with that very, very slim chance that we had. But yeah, all in all, it was a better performance. It were a bit encouraging to see the lads actually, taking on arguably one of the best teams in the league. And they will be up there. They're thereabouts this year, won't they? And, so yeah, they had a couple of players missing, but it was encouraging. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, Karl, what do you make? Do you agree with Smarty in the majority?
Yeah, I think so. It's one of those games that where you don't want to lose, because you're at home firstly, and then it's a case of, well, let's try and score. There was one ball that Harrison played into Dominic Calvert-Lewin towards the end of the second half, and he stretched to get it and kind of miscontrolled it. But you can kind of see the intelligence is there as how to go about it, and once he gets the fitness back up, I think he could be okay. But at the moment, we just look a bit toothless up front at the moment. But as long as we're hard to beat in the midfield, I think that's where our battles are going to be won this season, and we have to hope that the ball breaks kindly for us then to then set the wingers away and try and get in on in behind. But the defense and midfield for me, look, everyone's going to have an off day against Arsenal. Wednesday was just a bit of a shambles as well, but the players will learn from games like that, and they'll know. And they seem to be intelligent players. Longstaff was, I seen a few people in the comments, he would have been my man of the match as well, to be fair. He was very good. But again, credit to Strike. I know he has his doubters and stuff, but again, came up against a good forward line, regardless of who they had or who they didn't have up front. They still have to deal with the likes of Guimaraes and Tonali breaking from midfield as well. So, back to midfield, and it was quite nice to see us being solid. And then again, a lot of endeavour up front, but not too much end product. If we could have fixed that, I think we would have been on to a winner.
I'd agree. And I think one of the things probably went slightly under the radar was the subs that we brought on. We had 4 players that came on all with Premier League experience, which is a nice position to be in. And look, I'm not going to sit here and overly praise the recruitment because of what unfolded yesterday, but to be able to bring 4 players on with substantial, some of them, Premier League experience, you've got to look at Justin and Calvert-Lewin, both got loads and loads of caps in the Premier League. Aronson obviously had the season with us before, and Jack Harrison's been at Everton for the last 2 years and was with us for the 2 or 3 years before that as well. So to be able to bring players like that on is a good thing to do, and is a positive for me in those types of games where you're up against it, and actually the game could go either way, and it could have gone either way. It was on a knife edge, wasn't it? It was a flip of a coin. Any team could have won it. It could have been easily lost, but we didn't. But neither team did, and I think that's. I mean, people will slate Farke because they don't like Daniel Farke. But actually, when you look at the substitutions and the timing of the substitutions, and all right, James Justin one was forced because I think Gudmundsson picked up a bit of an injury. But yeah, when you compare that to when the last time we were in, for instance, the Premier League, when we were gambling on players like I don't know. Llorente and Koch, who'd never played in the Premier League and had spent a fortune. I mean, I say a fortune, but players that had come into the team that probably didn't have that experience. And I think potentially that's where Daniel Farke might have a little bit of an advantage over his predecessors. So predecessors, is that right? Yeah. But yeah, I think for me, it was a good point for both sides. I think they would have been they set up almost to get a point. I think, as did we. I don't think I don't think either team was unlucky to come out of it with a share of the points, really. But
probably about the right result, to be fair.
It was.
I'm just gonna try and pull up the statistics.
To be fair, we did kind of limit them to very little as well at the back, and
yeah, we defended well.
Yeah, and we were the same. But to say that Harvey Barnes came on and he looked like he couldn't kick a ball when he came on, and that was the one kind of player with the ones being out that we were all going, yeah, but remember, Harvey Barnes always scores against us, and he didn't even look like he could kick a ball.
No, I tried to stick a $5 on him scoring when he came on, but I couldn't get a signal because I tend to when the lads went it's 0-0 and it was like I don't know when did he come on? What, it's 70-odd minute?
Yeah,
and I just turned to when the lads and just went, I'm sticking a $5 on this lad. He's probably going to score because that's what he just likes to do. I knew it was about 70th ish. Yeah, but he didn't. Yeah. And like you say, he wasn't that good. But, going back to when we were last in the Premier League, and how frail we were at the back, it's a huge contrast to say. I mean, obviously it's early doors. Well, it's fine. It's early doors, but we do look a lot more together and solid at the back. And we have to play Biol as well, who, arguably is a better player than Strauch.
I was just going to ask that. Why haven't we seen much of him?
I've been asking... Oh, go on, Karl.
No. Go on, man. Go on.
I've been thinking this myself, and the only thing I can possibly think is that the fact that there's not another captain potentially yet. Is it too early to give it to Longstaff or whatever? So because Ampadu's not there, is it, obviously Strauch's the vice captain or whatever, so it naturally falls to him. But that's the only thing I can think of. But he's not really put a foot wrong yet, Strauch. He did all right in pre-season. Obviously he's one of Farke's boys in it. He's just going to have to, obviously, Biel's just going to have to wait for an opportunity to come in, which I'm pretty, it's Strauch in it, so he'll get injured at some point. Touch wood, it won't be too soon, but he's bound to get injured at some point, and then he'd probably lose his place to Biel. But as long as he's playing well, it doesn't matter, does it? I suppose.
Yeah, I think. Go on, sorry, Karl, go on.
Yeah. Just to kind of add to that point as well, it's like might be the vice captain and all that, but. We know Farke doesn't like to change a team that's not, conceding goals, essentially. And at the moment, we've had 2 relatively good tests at home, and we've not conceded in 2 games at home. So do you take the continuity out of the team and then risk losing that form at home? I think it's the home form that's going to be important for us this year. And unless Strauch, like Smarty said, gets injured, I can't see him coming out anytime soon, because the Arsenal game was an anomaly. Everyone played terrible in that game, so you couldn't really judge him based off that. So the 2 games he has had, I think he's done quite well in them. We've kept a clean sheet, and he's had good opportunities from corners as well. He had one against Everton as well. So we always say he is lethal from set pieces. We just needed to find someone who could fucking put a set piece in.
Yeah, I think
still looking.
Yeah. And I go back to what I said about Newcastle setting up to come, and they were quite happy leaving me the point. The fact Nick Pope got booked for time wasted after 35 minutes or whatever it was. It's the unfortunate state that football is in now. Teams do not want to lose football matches because they know how important those singular points are, especially away from home. Elland Road's not going to be an easy place for many teams to come this season. Let's be honest. I was speaking to Nick Pug's brother actually the other day at my daughter's game. And he was saying the difference that he's an Ipswich fan, and he was saying the difference that Leeds have probably got, and one of the USPs in comparison to maybe Ipswich is that it is a bit of a cauldron, is Elland Road, and teams aren't going to enjoy it, and they're not going to get it all their way. The refs as well, I think the refs made some dodgy decisions in that game, but for our benefit for once, do you know what I mean? I thought I thought there was a couple of challenges probably could have gone against us, but
it's a lot softer, isn't it?
It is.
You get a lot given in the Premier League compared to Championship. That you know, obviously the standard of refereeing is higher if you want to say that, I suppose. You know, with the benefit of VAR as well. But yeah, I think that you do get given a lot more by the refs. But Pope got booked. He went for time wasting, because the ball went out of play and he knocked a second ball onto the pitch.
Yeah.
So he could scramble back to his goal line. That's what he got booked for.
How was it?
One for time wasting. Yeah. Ball
Well,
went
that
out
could
of
be
play.
classed as time
It's
wasting.
time wasting.
Well, I suppose, yeah. Well, yeah, okay, it was time wasted, but not in the usual hanging on to the ball for too long sort of sense. Yeah.
Can I just throw something at you before we move on to the transfer stuff? I know we're, going to.
As long as it's not shite.
No, it's not shite. Well, it might be. I don't know.
It possibly could be.
You know where there's a top six bias with the referees. Some decisions like that disallowed goal for Fulham, absolute garbage decision, but top six bias. That kind of way. What Smarty said there about the referees maybe being intimidated by the atmosphere at Elland Road. Do you reckon could we be in one of the bottom six bias where we actually get shit going our way this season? It's like, oh,
it'd be nice.
Right, okay, maybe just out of, why not?
It'd be nice. It'd be nice, Cal. It'd be nice. But moving on to the next segment, it's we've made it a lot tougher for ourselves, haven't we? And let's move on to that, because it is. We all sit here now. Not
like a fucking wake.
Yeah, what I don't even know what disappointed is probably doesn't even do the word justice, does it? Because for me, let's talk about the transfer window. We started the transfer window fairly positive, very positive. Arguably, I thought we signed players that we wanted at the back early on, midfield. Bijol, Statch, really good top signings. Brought Barnow, or whatever his name is.
Yeah, I don't really know how to pronounce his name, even though there's been a video that tells you how to pronounce the name. I don't think it's quite like that, but yeah. Bornov or Bornov. Every time I say his name, I want to speak like a Russian scientist or something. Bornov.
Have you seen that video going around of the funniest starting 11 name name pronunciation? Then it just goes, Daniel Farka.
Daniel Farka.
And then it goes again, Daniel Farka.
There's some really good ones on that anyway, by the way. But I'll try and find it. Born out. It's got to be born out, isn't it? Born out, something like that.
Yeah,
but
we'll go with that.
Let's just call him Seb.
Just call him Seb. Yeah, just call him Seb.
But yeah, look, the recruitment looked all right. Obviously, I felt James Justin might have been a bit of a panic buy, possibly overpaid with only a year left. But we needed somebody who could play left back or right back. We did need that. Look, good Munson's already injured. Picked up a knock. I think he's still gone away on international duty, though, hasn't he? From what I can see.
Yeah, he's gone away, and he was walking around at the end of the game, wasn't he?
Yeah,
unaided, and it seemed all right. It was just probably a precautionary thing. I mean, at the end of the day, we've got the options now. We've got a couple of wing backs to cover our starting wing backs. So, like you say, I think we probably did pay over the odds for. Is it Justin James? Yeah. Whichever way around it is. Yeah, and Leicester seemed pretty happy to get rid of him, which didn't fill me with the utmost confidence, if I'm honest. But he seems all right, and like you say, he's got Prem experience, and it's a warm body, I suppose. It's better than nothing. Oh yeah, true,
yeah. So let's talk about that first half of the transfer window, and let's not necessarily compare it because it's uncomparable. But we were all quite happy, weren't we? Halfway through the window, got business done early. We probably realised, and we recognised as fans, and everybody recognised, and Daniel Farker certainly recognised, we needed at least two attacking players. We brought Okafor in, but then we let Ramazani go. So we still, for me, needed two. We need a winger and somebody who can play 10 better than Brendan Aronson in games that we're going to use a stereotypical 10. We didn't bring either of those in. So we're now in this position. We're now in this position where we've not even filled our squad for this season unless we have 4 goalkeepers in there. We've got 25-man squad, including 4 goalkeepers. One of those who is Alex Cairns and only here for the homegrown. One is Ilan Melier, who is now arguably 4th choice. We've got Karl Darlow, and then we've got Perry. And then
Ilan Melier, who I think his contract runs out in December, doesn't it? In it like mid halfway through the league, halfway through the season or something stupid I've seen. I don't know whether that's true. Don't quote me. But he's definitely into his last year. So he's basically, if he doesn't go in December for a small fee, which will be a small fee if we can actually get rid of him, we're paying his fucking wages for him to be sat on we're not even on bench because he's not even going to get on bench. What an absolute waste of time. What a waste of a squad number as well. Not that we were feeling it anyway, but it's like fucking hell. If we register him as a 24th man, that means we've only got one more squad place available. So it only limits us to what, even if we did magically for the first time actually go and buy someone in January transfer window, we can only get one person anyway.
Yeah.
He actually, on August 13, 2021, Meslier signed a new deal which extended his contract until 2026.
Is that January 2026 or June?
It just says 2026.
I imagine it's June, isn't it?
I would have thought so.
Not many people.
June.
Yeah, not.
But even still, you're not going to get jack shit for him now, are you?
Oh,
there we go. 4-4 runs, got it right. He's free to negotiate.
That's what it is.
Deal away from January because he'll only have less than 6 months left on his contract.
So that's that. Then we're getting absolutely jack shit for the fucking Spider Boy. Nice bit of business that. Well done.
Yeah. It's one of them.
What do you guys make of this narrative? Because obviously we've missed out on. If I can just go through and just tell you some of the names that we've been linked with throughout this transfer window. We've been linked with. We have been linked with. Here we go. Where's it gone?
What's going on with your light there?
It's my screen in the background, mate. But I've got some frigging thing coming up on my. It's deciding that I can't use that screen at the minute, so I'll have to come back to that. But the narrative the route that I was going to go down is that Daniel Farke doesn't have the pull, and that's the route I'm going to go. That's the route that some of our fans are going down. I don't know what you two thoughts around that, and that's the reason we've missed out on players allegedly.
I don't think that's the case at all.
Not all.
Not all. Like no. Obviously, the players that we've signed, they all said that they sat down, spoke to the manager, understood what he wanted, this and that, whatever. But ultimately, it's the club that's going to pay the most money for you and pay you the best wage, and it's a board thing. If they brought in, your man Underwood was looking after the 21s last year, the academy, like.
Fucking hell.
I don't know what the criteria was for getting the role as sporting director of such a fucking.
Just on that, did you see the reaction? Or what was surfaced recently of Lucy Ward's reaction to that? By the way, with a shocked face emoji. I mean, obviously she's been around the academy for a very long time. Before she got outed by Chilino. So she knows obviously people that have been in the club for he's been there for at least 10 years, and she even she was surprised. So that doesn't really fill you with confidence, to be fair.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, well, I think it was just an eyes open emoji, wasn't it? As if like she was a bit shocked at that.
Well, it's a what the fuck, innit? It's a what the fuck.
Yeah. Like that.
I hope you bagged that job.
Like no slight on him or anything like that, but that's like giving Dave Hockaday the job.
Yeah.
Granted, like he had experience within the academy, but that's a totally different ball game. Like you're scouting young players who have potential, not players that need to be at a certain level. You know what I mean? And Debs makes a better point there as well. The draw European football has done quite a bit as well. But same.
Your top targets are going to have been your top targets, so that the really good players like your Pac Shaws, etc. Those are the ones that are going to be drawn by European football, because those are the, dare we say, the Rafinha sort of bracket players that would probably use us as a stepping stone in their career to go into bigger and better things. That's the sort of player, but that's the sort of player we want to be in the market for. What can be said, and we'll probably go into this in a little bit more detail, etc., is where we've ended up in the last week. We've been scraping the bottom of the barrel of the bargain basement bucket in the fucking, in the transfer section of the supermarket. And it's like, Harry Wilson. If someone had a tweet, I mean, everyone were clambering for Harry Wilson and Hamer in the last couple of days just to be able to actually get someone physically through the door. We didn't want them 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. If someone had mentioned Harry Wilson 3 weeks ago, you'd have been laughed off the platform or whoever you were speaking to in pub. They'd have laughed at you. Harry Wilson, you're joking.
I disagree. I like Harry Wilson. I think it'd be a good sign.
I'm not saying it's bad, but as a potential, as a long view, you don't want players like Harry Wilson. You want people that are better. I would take Harry Wilson. I don't think he's a bad player. I'm not saying that he's a bad player, but he's not the sort of market we thought we were fishing in.
So the other side of the coin there is you can understand our frustration as fans is because we went from potentially getting Peugeot to scrambling around, like Smarty said, in a B&M basket looking for a couple of attacking players, and that's going to be a massive, massive kind of kick in the teeth for us that we're, scrambling. Like we couldn't even get Solomon on the final day, and people were like, should just go and get Solomon.
I don't know if we went in for Solomon, did we? I don't think we did. Well, but it is the equivalent of, lads standing round edge of a dance floor in a nightclub at end at night looking to see who we can take home. It literally is, you'll do.
It was embarrassing.
Even to a point, now I might be going off on a little bit of a tangent, I apologise, we'll come back. But to a point where we were told firmly by Fulham in the afternoon that Harry Wilson wasn't going anywhere. Now, we don't know what to believe because there's two sides of every coin, but Leeds don't have much credit at the minute for me. So I'm going to lean slightly towards the whole Fulham story. We were told that he wasn't for sale and it wasn't coming, and we still put a deal sheet in there anyway. Now, is that just to cover our asses because we can just say, well, we tried to get him, but Fulham didn't want to sell him to us? The same sort of bullshit that we've been thrown many, many times before. We've been burnt by that many, many times before. That's just fucking shite, if I'm being honest with you. And I'm certain everyone else will, people in the chat and everyone else, it's rife all over Twitter will agree. That's really poor. Being told firmly that he's not interested or that he won't be coming, but still sticking in a deal sheet. What on earth is going on there? That's so bad.
Tyler Roberts says he was still available. He's now playing for Mansfield.
Thanks, Tyler. Appreciate it, man.
Come in, mate.
Yeah, if I could just go through the list of players that we were heavily linked with at some stage throughout all of the window. We didn't manage to get one of these through the door, by the way. Diarra, Paxau, Muniz, Kristovic, Buonanotte, Bakwa, Spurcian, Demirovic, Gonzalez, Buendia, Hamer, Elkanous, and Harry Wilson. They was all genuine links. And I think the one that we really missed. That was the one. That was the one that we missed out. I think that was the one. We put all our eggs in one basket with that. We let Ramazani go with the pretense that he was coming in, and that fucked us up. Then it was throw some shit at a fucking wall and hope some of it sticks and we'll get somebody in, anyone in. Do you know what I mean? And that's not the way to run a Premier League outfit. No, it's not. That is not.
Mark's made a good point here. If Wilson and Hamer were good enough for us to sign on deadline day, they were good enough for the 48ers. 48ers. I can't believe I even read that. I think he means 49ers. Before that, amateur hour from Underwood. And you go back to what you said previously about is it Fark and the pull and stuff like that. But when you look at, we're going to have to compare. I'm not really bothered about Burnley, but when you look at Sunderland and how well they've done through this transfer window, and you speak, I've seen articles from players and it was their director of football who came in at the end of last season to obviously take them, forward into the Premier League, etc. And it's kind of acts back to our good old friend Mr. Orta, because as much of an absolute dickhead he was pretty good at talking the talk on a lot of cases, and he liked to sell the project to these people. What sort of project are we selling to these people? Because, like I say, obviously I don't know, I don't have any sort of inside information, etc., but why would Buonanotte rather go and sit on Chelsea's bench than actually get some game time at Leeds United? That's not selling the project good enough for me. So what are they doing? It's just really poor from our recruitment.
Is that on Daniel Farker or is that on the recruitment team?
Well, that's not on Daniel Farker. It's not on Daniel Farker. And many conversations today about that. People pinning all the transfer stuff on Daniel Farker. I don't think they actually realise how the recruitment works. It's Farker's players and Farker this and Farker that. It's like, it's not on Farker. The recruitment team will identify a specific amount of targets for different positions, whether it be striker, whether it be left back, right back, wherever, to suit the style of the manager's set play. He will then, the recruitment team will then offer you, say, 5 or 6 targets. Look at these. What do you think to these targets? He'll say, yeah, I like him, don't like him, blah, blah, blah. Right, we'll go with them then. Target number 1, don't want to come to us. Target number 2, don't want to come to us. Number 3 comes from, no. That's how it works.
Should be done a lot.
This is how it works. I know it should.
Scrambling around.
But people say, but it's Daniel Farker, and Daniel Farker's not fucking going and flying here, there, and everywhere and trying to negotiate contracts. He's too busy doing what he can with his fucking team. He's not the one who's negotiating contracts and trying to sign players. It's like banging your head against a frigging brick wall, man. You know, some people just don't understand how it works.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So I don't think it is Farker's pull. I think it is more recruitment. Sorry.
Just to put things in a little bit more of perspective, Leeds have made 10 signings and spent 97 million. Now, people will say that we've spent a lot less than Burnley, but actually, when you look at probably signing on fees from free agents and the free agents we brought in and probably what they expect, we're probably somewhere thereabouts. Burnley made 14 signings, by the way, and spent circa 110 million. And Sunderland made 13 signings and spent almost 160 or thereabouts. So yeah, I mean we've spent far less. I mean, yeah, people will argue we had the far superior squad to those two, but do we now?
Like,
I want a simple answer. Do you think we have a more superior squad to both Burnley and Sunderland right now?
I think Burnley definitely, but I think Sunderland have definitely upped their game in the transfer market. Now we need to see, like we've been talking, they bought these, they bought them, they're going to be gone for 6 weeks in AFCON and all that. They've bought enough players to potentially be okay in there. Like the players they brought in, they've also brought in backup. So I don't know if they've got a better squad on paper. I'd like to think, you know, I think they might have, but on the pitch, I don't think they have a better team than us footballing wise. I think your man Lebris, he's never managed in the Premier League, so that the wheels could come off.
Doing all right though.
No, let me get to the point. If the wheels fall off at any point for them, has he got the bottle to kind of keep going and trust in his way of playing football and stuff like that? You know, these are the things and you can't really do that while you're in the Premier League. And I think Daniel Farke has his third crack at it now. Like he'll have learned a lot and he knew exactly where he needed to strengthen, but he wasn't given the key components to potentially keep us up. That's the only problem.
Well, I just want to sort of elaborate slightly on that, because I don't know if you both remember. You probably will, because the clips have resurfaced of Parag Marat saying that he wasn't given the right deck or the right hand, a fair hand, in his last two stabs at the Premier League under Norwich, and that he was going to give him. We were going to spend every penny available. It's going to be interesting to hear the next time Parag Marat does an interview in it, because he's certainly going to be asked those questions. Do you think you've given Daniel Farke a fair hand, a fair deck of cards to go into this season with? For one, have you spent every penny?
They're not going to do though, are they? Because they're hiding. The club haven't even made an announcement today. They've not even,
they've not even said Yarby's gone.
Exactly, they've not even recognised that. So they're a set of shivering bastards, because they know they've messed it all up. They do, it's embarrassing. But, going back to Sunderland, they've absolutely smashed it. They will not go down. I didn't think they would do anyway, but they've absolutely had a fantastic transfer window. And fair play to them. That's how it's done. Attack the market, be aggressive, get your signings sorted. They got
Forest did. Look at Forest now.
Yeah,
but but look at Sunderland. Which player was it that they had from Chelsea and they recalled him? And there was someone else that they were in for, and then it went a bit pear shaped. But the day after, they got another player in. Bosh, done. Yeah, we hadn't signed a player in up to a couple of days before the transfer window ended. 10 days, James Justin.
Everyone sniffed at that. Brought in Granit Xhaka.
I mean, say what you want. I mean, yeah, he won in his day, but he's probably a little bit too old for it now. But he's Prem experience. It's an old head. It's a lot of experience, and he's played at a high level. It's not a bad thing. And then where someone's dangling fucking Calvin Phillips at us, mint sound.
The dude's foot
Can't
was
wait
in
for
a
that one.
boot at the Kaiser Chiefs, like, you know what I mean? He's not played in how long?
He's made of fucking chalk, that lad.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Like,
Wouldn't
it's
go
no
anywhere
slight on
near
the
him,
lad,
even for sentimental value. Yeah, I'm sure he were lovely and he were great under Bielsa. But
Yeah,
no, thank you.
No, we need,
No thanks.
like, there's talk of Brownhill, but he's gone out to Saudi now, like, so.
Is it been
forget
confirmed that, yeah?
Apparently so.
I've seen
yeah.
a few people say that.
Yeah.
I think this
Like
Mark makes a great point here. Mark makes a really, really good point. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, Carl.
Yeah.
We had money to buy packs out. We had money to throw at Mooney's. We've spent, was it 18 million on Okafor, there or thereabouts?
Yeah.
18 million of that. So
and then 7 on James Justin or whatever it was.
9, I think it was, on Justin.
Wait, 9? Really?
So that's 27. So there's still 10 million floating about somewhere. Now, we could have got somebody. We probably could have got, I mean, I'm not saying I wanted him, but we probably, if you throw 10 million at Villa for Emi Buendia in his last year of his contract, or Harry Wilson, we were that desperate. I would have done. I would have thrown that money. Now, there is reports that we did make a substantial offer or a high offer based on his current value for Harry Wilson, and they still told us, unlucky mate, he's not for sale. Then brought in 3 wingers the next day, but on the same day even. But yeah, for me, it's just been an absolute shit show of an end, shall I say? Because I was really, really positive. I was really optimistic when the window was open. And we got a lot of good business done early. You know, we signed Perry, who I think looks all right apart from his distribution. He certainly looks like he'll save more than Melia will, and he'll come out and make himself known, make his presence known. The real unfortunate thing is his distribution isn't great, and he's aiming out to Dan James or Willie Nonto, who are 5 foot fucking nothing. Do you know what I mean? It's just, I just really, it's frustrated me. Really, it's put a real sour taste on the end of what could have been a real good window. It ended as a 5 for me. I thought it started as a 7.5, by the way.
Yeah,
I might go slightly higher, 6.5, but I was on the verge of having a bath with a toaster last night. I'll be honest. My dad got sideswiped. I opted for the toaster last night.
They did start out very well. Like, that was the thing, Luke, where we built from the back, which made a lovely change. And when you saw how solid we were going to be at the back, or potentially how solid we were going to be, and then in midfield as well, it gave you hope that we were going to strengthen up front and do it properly. Like, you know, it looked like it was like you were coming to the end of the line, the finish line, and you pull your hamstring about 100 yards from the fucking finish line and you can't finish. You know, it was just, it's been such a letdown the last week and a half. Like, it's like even James Justin coming in didn't really kind of fill you with all the joy in the world. Like, and it's fucking frustrating as hell. Like, I don't know about anyone else, but I was looking at an 8.5 out of 10 window there when we sorted out our midfield. I was like, this could be one of the best windows we've seen in a long time, not even included under Bielsa. And it's like, Jesus, this, you know, and then it was like trusting a fucking fart, that last bit of it. Like, it was just horrible.
It's when Morag. I knew I'd got that name wrong. Then I would try to reverse.
Not
and
me.
No, I've said it. It's out there. When Parag went on the Sky Sports after, I think we're after Everton, didn't he? And he started spieling about, you know, the transfer window's not closed. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to carry on. You know, we're not done yet, and you know, things get done in the last week up to, you know, and the last hours, etc., etc. And the bullshit that he came out with at the end of the season. There's an argument to be made that there's a widening gap, and with all due respect to the clubs we're different, we have an opportunity and we have a scale that no one else has. Now, this dickhead keeps making these statements, and he has done quite a few times, and they're just going to haunt him because now everyone absolutely hates him. Everyone's baying for his blood. You know, I'm surprised if he don't get chased around Elland Road in a fucking taxi next time he rocks up. You know, because that's the sort of mentality we have. You've let us down. You know, at the end of the day, people say Farker this, Farker that, Farker other. That man's probably going to end up getting his fucking job taken away from him because I'm pretty certain by December the chopping block he'll be getting wheeled out and he'll be there. But who's gonna want to inherit that? Any potential manager that doesn't get supported so obviously Who's going to want to come? We can't get Harry Wilson's fucking knickknacks. How the hell are we going to get some manager to walk through and save us? It's just not going to happen. So Parag, I think he's skating on thin ice. He's certainly not impressed the fan base.
He needs to get grilled at the next trust meeting, that's for sure. Like the questions need to be hard, and if Sadiq cans his way out of that one, then you deserve everything. How close is yesterday to the don't go to bed just yet, lads? How close is it?
I don't think it's as close. I don't think it's obviously as close. We let 2 players go after that. Do you know what I mean? Last time, didn't we? Ooh, this is good. Jason Pearce won it, and then we let Matt Smith and Don Paulian go, didn't we?
And Matt Smith, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Did Matt Smith actually go to Fulham?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Did you see the what was it, the Tosh, is it, or the whatever it is, Bleeding podcast, where he was on and he was telling them the story about how he ended up down at Fulham.
Oh, under the cosh.
Under the cosh, yeah. And he was saying he was down in his brother's house or his cousin's house all day waiting for the call. And he just got the call at like 10 o'clock at night and legged it over and did a medical or the MRI or something like that.
No, he did his MRI, didn't he? He anticipated that.
MRI,
so he went in to do sign and all that sort of stuff later on, yeah.
Yeah. And you're kind of like, that's a shit show that'll only be beaten by the lame attempt at a new badge, I think.
I mean, it's bad, but there's been a bit of a build-up over the last few days with this, which is why it's escalated to the heights that it has, I think, with everyone thinking, well, we've got to get something done. Surely. They've promised us that we'll get something done, and then to get absolutely nothing, it's so poor, and it's really, really bad. Yeah. And like you say, Fark said in the last game, if we don't get the options that I want, if we don't get another, whether it be a right winger, another right winger, or a number 10 creative midfielder, or another striker, we're going to really struggle. He's been open and honest. I don't know what more you could expect a manager to say than, fucking sign me some players, we are going to struggle here. So we're going to struggle. And that poor fucker, whether you Fark in or Fark out, you have to sympathise with him because he's been absolutely just been so let down by the club.
I think so, yeah. I think it's hard to look at Fark and point the blame at him. It's
many people will point the blame at Farke, and they're wrong to do so because it's not on him to do that.
It's those people who think that Fark is sitting there with the checkbook and he's dictating exactly what the hell we're spending the money on when it's not in any way at all. Like you said, Smarty, he's given a list of players and he says which ones he likes and which ones he doesn't, and it's like, what else is he meant to do? Like short of knocking on the player's door of their house himself, it's not a lot.
He obviously needs to go down to Fulham and kidnap Harry Wilson. That's clearly what some of the fan base are expecting him to go. Why is he not walking down to these players' houses like Brian Clough used to do in day? Turn up with a chuffing cup of tea and say, "Right, Sonny, are you joining me?" Or what? It doesn't happen like that anymore. It just doesn't happen like that. I think people just need to take their heads out of their asses and just engage with a bit of common sense.
It's in fucking short supply recently as well, which is one of those. There's a lot of head loss.
Twitter's a cesspit, mate.
Yeah,
you should be able to. You should have a general level of aptitude to qualify for an account on Twitter, I think, because you'd see a lot of people lose their accounts quite quickly. You should do, because there's some brainless dickheads out there that just waffle shite, and you just think, fuck. Sometimes I literally sit there flabbergasted with my head in my hands thinking, how could you have such a warped opinion on life? Why are you so stupid? And that's just Jay.
I was having a chat with Andrea, Italian Andrea, yesterday. Whenever it closed anyway, about probably 8-9 o'clock, whatever it was. And he was saying in Italy, the directors of football are responsible. They are the ones who come into the media and have to answer the questions. It's not left to the manager to answer questions around transfers and transfer windows. And they're obliged as part of their job specification to come and do reports and conversations with the press. Yeah. I think that's a great idea. I think they should be held accountable. That is their full-time job. It's not Daniel. Yes, Daniel Farke has to say who he wants and when he wants, but Daniel Farke has been screaming for the last month or 3 weeks or whatever it is that he wants, that our attack is lacking, that he needs attacking players. And since then, what have we done? Loaned out Largi Ramazani. We didn't make it make sense.
Allison is
Ian made a good point. Twitter is not reality. You're absolutely right. But we're inundated with dipsticks, aren't we? It's like when you step into Elland Road, and people will be baying for Harrison's, but he's a dickhead. Boo! I'm gonna boo Harrison and this, that, and the other. It's completely different. I mean, there are some dipsticks in the stadiums as well. But you're right. Twitter is not reality, Ian. You are correct.
Alison is here saying that Andrea and Lockie done a better job on scouting. Now, if you haven't seen any of their scouting reports,
yeah, they're brilliant.
Watch.
They're brilliant.
They're absolutely fantastic.
They are, right. Yeah.
Honestly, like the work Andrea put in one night when he was on Joe's show, even going into detail about Pijao when it looked like we were proper in for him. It was just fascinating to watch. And if you haven't seen any of them, go back and have a look. They're really good. Like,
yeah. Right, we'll just fly through a few comments, and then I want to come on to a few free agents that are still kicking about, and whether or not they might be, because I'm assuming that we will be looking into the free agent market to at least fill the squad, so we look like.
Is Gilavugi available?
Yeah, I mean, we're only in the most elite league in the world.
Josh.
We can't fill. We can't fill the squad. So we'll go through a few of these. WFIA08 is adamant he wants 49ers out. He's that adamant he's put it more than once. The same message. Thank you. Roland, welcome back, my friend from New Mexico. The Arsenal Wednesday matches had me down, but I'm somewhat cheered by the new performance against Newcastle. It's given us a bit of hope on it. If we could do that with a couple of our most important players out, then against a decent side, let's be honest. And I know Gordon was out for them, and I know they didn't have Isak, and I know we've played him before. That big fucking 6'7" Voldemort, whatever he's called, signed for him. But look, it's a good point. It's a good point, isn't it?
Yeah, and to be fair, like the next night was it kind of made it a little easier to take as well. Let's be honest, when Scum got knocked out by Grimsby on penalties. And I slept a little better the night after, not so much the night before, but that was quite nice. And now it turns out that Grimsby played an eligible player and they got fined 20 grand, but you had Mark Goldbridge screaming on Twitter going, let us back in, kick them out. Sorry, Mark.
Yeah, this just go back. Sorry, I should have done some of these earlier. Just go back to the Newcastle game. Skip said that, we grafted a bit, created nothing. Yeah, pretty much what we said. Right, Liam's coming onto the window then. First half of the window, very positive. Second part, not so good. We need to back Calvert-Lewin and Metcher to do the job up front. We have all we're going to get. You need to be 100% behind Leeds. And I think if any time we do need to be behind Leeds and Farker now and actually show them, the fucking 49ers, what set of bastards they are, and that's probably been a bit harsh, like, because they have made, it is a bit harsh. I think you're muted, Smarty, but not bastards, but how much more difficult we've made it for ourselves. Do you know what I mean? I think we do need to be a bit more united going.
I'd love to hear what Gilly's got to say about 49ers now. Christ, wouldn't be able to shut him up. Oh God, everyone be bored to death.
Yeah. Would everyone just be mourning if we did sign someone deadline day, saying panic buy last minute? Possibly. But as I said before, I would have been quite happy with Harry Wilson. I think he's a creative type player who could take a free kick.
He's a good player.
We signed all these big lads to win. Did Daniel Farker say that we scored the most goals in the Championship last season as a result of free
set
kicks
pieces.
And corners, set pieces? Yeah,
not directly, but as a result of,
yeah,
that's it.
And he was hoping to use that physicality into this league. Well, that's all good and well as long as you got somebody, as long as your best fucking free kick taker isn't a 6'4" fucking centre midfielder named Anton Stach. Do you know what I mean? Jay says we could sign under 21s without taking a squad place. We can't sign we can't pay for anybody. Jay is my understanding. Yes, they wouldn't take a squad place, but we'd still have to probably. I'm sure nobody's just going to give us a really talented under 21s player. I get what you're saying, but yeah,
that was the good thing about signing Buenanote is that he's under 21, and he wouldn't have counted as a senior squad player. So we could have had potentially all good in hindsight now, but we could have brought in maybe 2-3 more players, with that signing. But it just goes to show that when one falls down, it has a domino effect, and it's fucked then, isn't it?
Yeah. Paul Brennan says here, I mean, he's always positive, Paul. I love Paul. Leeds United is a big club whose players do know who players do know, but we are promoted, just been promoted, and players don't want to be in a relegation battle until we get established. It's almost a catch-22, that, isn't it? How do you stay in this league without signing quality players? It is just so difficult. And when you look at the players and the amount of monies that Liverpool, for instance, have spent, after winning the league, they've still gone out and spent 500 million quid, $500 million, something silly like that. So it is mad. It's mad. I'm already growing to hate the Premier League again, and we've only been back for 3 games.
Do you think the fucking last 2 seasons with the same teams going up and going down has had much of an impact on players going to clubs, do you think?
What, being in the bottom 3?
Yeah.
Or those that have been viewed by pundits as being relegated because have just been promoted, sorry. And then those that are promoted usually go down. Based on the last couple of seasons. Yeah. It's got to be a factor, innit? It's got to be a factor, definitely.
Yeah.
But Sunderland don't seem to have been affected by that.
But look at, man, if they throw that much money at it and go down, they're going down to League One again, aren't they? Really?
I don't think they will go down. Yeah, they will be fucked.
I'm not saying, but I'm saying if they do go down, the potentially financially,
they're giving themselves every chance of not, aren't they, Karl?
Of course. Oh, of course, yeah. There's no denying.
I'll be honest, I haven't heard of half of the players they've signed, but they're apparently good. So,
we heard of half of them during the transfer window because we were meant to be
the first few. Yeah, I'm going to say the first few we knew about because we were fucking linked with them, but they absolutely sideswiped us. No, we're going to sign them instead, mate. Get yourself fucked off, like. I'm like, sound.
Paid over the odds a little bit for some of them, but
Yeah. Jack, I think this is a good point. I think Jack says we have still got a very good starting 11, but then when you look at options from the bench, I think that's where we probably lack in comparison to some of the teams. Certainly the established teams that have already been in the Premier League for a few years. Maybe not so much.
I think we've got good squad depth from a defensive and sort of central midfield view. Definitely. Definitely, because that's where all his money's gone. It's up top. It's the 3 stooges up front that we're going to struggle with. I think we've signed Patrick Bamford, Mark II, who did look good against Newcastle when he came on, but how long will that last for? He's not the most clinical of goal scorers, is he, Calvert-Lewin? Metcher's a big unit, and I liked what he did against Newcastle, but I don't think he'll probably get more than maybe 4 to 5, 6 goals maybe this season. And Pirro, well, absolute deadly finisher, but only when we seem to be on top of teams, which we will not be much this season. So,
this worries me as well from when was I saying that? Botanicab, yeah, fuck all.
What, as like an impact?
If we go goal behind, that kind of worries me at the moment.
Yeah, because we've got no creative players. We've got none.
Might even get a goal when everyone's on the field. Never mind, fucking somebody off the bench.
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you're right.
Moving on, Luke T says we spent 50 million on a keeper, 10 million on Justin. Forgive me, but surely we could get 2 competent loans to fill out those positions. And then Jay goes on to say, you don't want a long keeper in a relegation battle. You want somebody who knows the outcome effects from long term. Yeah, affects them long term. Sorry,
because if we were going for a loan, I don't know what sort of caliber or what sort of class of keeper you'd get on loan, but I don't think he'd be much better than Darlow, the ones that we've got already. Yeah. So that would be pointless. James, I understand. And I think he'll be absolutely fine. I mean, Perry's distribution is to be left wanting slightly. But I think it will get better as the season goes on. He's been carried in injuries or whatever. But he does look he looks a proper unit.
Yeah. And
I don't shit myself as soon as a ball goes near him, like I did with Melanie.
Derek Hawkins here in the comments. There is a good player, a good goalkeeper coming through from the under-21s. He's only like 18 or 19, Scottish lad. Yeah, he's already training with the Scotland senior team. So I think in the next
Ray or Roy,
Roy's a great Scottish name.
Mahadi?
Something like that, yeah. But I'd say we'll be seeing him a little bit more over the next 2 years anyway, if his development carries on the way it's seemingly going. Like he's meant to be a fantastic keeper altogether. Already 6'2", I think, or something. So there you go, Rory Mahennity. So yeah, there is
Rory,
a couple coming through. Yeah,
not Roy. Sorry.
Oh, shame. I like Roy.
Yeah, I like a good Roy as well. It reminds me of Roy, the Irish fella off Roy.
Not Roy Cropper.
On
No?
the game show. I always used to the game shows. Roy. What was his name?
Oh, the dude who did catchphrase.
The Irish cat. Yeah.
Catchphrase. Roy.
Yeah.
Come on, chat. Help us out, chat.
That's a good show.
Anyway,
I can't remember his
Roy.
name. Anyway, moving on. I don't want to bring those ones.
Walker.
Roy Walker. Of course it is.
Thanks, Oliver.
There you go.
Here's a question from CB. If you were Daniel Farke, do you think he would walk? Anyone think he would walk? I think he's too proud to walk. I think he's too committed. I don't think he's that type of guy. I think he has to be literally turfed out, and you would have to be turfed out because he's a big bastard, isn't he? You know, you'd have to literally get like a few wrestlers around to get him out of like his office. I reckon. You're just clinging on like that to everything.
Yeah, I think that
the unit is Farker.
Yeah, I think they'd leave themselves open to an old punch in the face after what they've done to him now. Like, you know what I mean? So you're fired. Oh, it's your fault, dickhead.
I've seen other, you know the Hitler rant. I seen where Fark had been put on top of it, like he's fucking kicking off in German. Yeah. That's hilarious. Yeah. I can just imagine him going in and fucking booting off in German like that. That'd be class.
Kicking over a desk and everything.
Yeah. Last couple then, and then there's a couple that we can go back to in a second. Liam again says you're a dipstick if you booed Harrison. I mean, I'm not a fan of booing, but I get.
I think that's I highlighted that because I wanted to just clear that up. No, I don't think you're a dipstick if you booed Harrison. What you do, and you know whatever you, if you're in the stadium, you decided to boo a player, then that's totally up to you. Not that I'd agree with it, and a lot of people probably wouldn't do, but I'll never tell anyone how to support, etc., etc. I think what I was arcing on about is some shit opinions within the crowd that are some absolute nonsense, getting shouted at players and referees and stuff. That's what we're on about. I think you were on about dipsticks.
If you pay your money, you're entitled to your opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not fucking cheap to go down the road these days, so you're definitely entitled to that opinion if you want to do whatever you want to do, I think.
If you want to boo a player, you boo a player.
Like,
I might call you a knobhead. I might think you're a knobhead, but I wouldn't tell you not to.
That's it. Yeah.
We all pay. They all pay. Everyone.
I would have booed Harrison. Maybe not like fucking, like proper going for it or whatever. But I've been going, you fucking wanker. First game, and then that's it. Like I did with Harrison, called him a wanker. You fucking shithouse. Boo. And then that's it. Got off my chest. He wouldn't have heard me. It's like, who the fuck's that dickhead with that massive head up in South Stand? He's not going to know who I am, is this?
Well, that's Smarty, isn't it?
Yeah. Is that Smarty? Okay. Anyway,
that's that guy who knows how to take a penalty. Look, there he is in South Stand.
I think Mikey MK sums it up really, really well for me. The 49ers to blame for this mess. They employed Underwood, who was clearly not fit for his role. They didn't then back the manager as they promised they would, and are now in hiding. It is all on them. And actually, if I refer back to the poll that I put up probably half hour or so ago, who is to blame? Daniel Farke, Underwood, 49ers, or Jay from OKB? We got 63%, 63% for 49ers. Jay from OKB in second place with 21%.
Class.
And then Underwood. So yeah, I think it sort of breaks down really, really quite well.
I didn't even realise you'd done that.
Yeah. Just really, really quickly then, what I wanted to do was just have a quick chat about some of these free agents. So just a quick yes or no. Obviously, I'm seeing now that Brownhill has gone to so he's been chasing the cash. Cash. Sorry.
Chasing the cash.
Not starting right after a game, Luke.
Go on, Brownhill, lad.
Not in Saudi. Well, anyway, I get his hands chopped.
Fuck that.
Brownhill has gone to Al.
They look like a nice set of toes. Them, I'm gonna chase her. Moving swiftly on.
So I'm just looking on. This is the transfer market. Would you take a punt on Tomiyasu, who was at Arsenal? He's still valued at 8.
He's injured, isn't he?
He's had a really bad injury, and he's still out for another month or so. But I mean, he looked all right when I saw him play for Arsenal. And I mean, we don't really need a right back or left back or whatever he plays these days, but so probably not. Brownell's gone. Kurt Zuma, centre back.
Oh
Now,
God, no.
Sergio Reguilon.
Well, the one who booted a cat, Zuma. Have I got that
Yeah,
right?
Zuma.
We've
Cat-
st- we've
well,
got
we did have Bataka, the chicken.
Jay
thrower
wouldn't be
before, so
happy,
maybe
would
we
he?
could-
Jay wouldn't be happy.
Jay would not be happy.
You can't sign him, it's animals.
Josh De Silva, not really for me.
Yeah.
And Ian Acho, I think I saw he'd gone to Celtic last night. Did he? I think
Ian
Acho
Acho?
signed for Celtic. Yeah, I think he signed for Celtic. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Hakeem Ziyech. Now he has had a fall from grace because
He's
I
old
believe
though, isn't he?
he's
He
32.
don't fit. Yeah, he don't fit.
32. He looked fucking old 10 years
He's practically dead. If Carl, tell him.
ago.
You're practically dead at 32, aren't you, Carl? You
Plus
can't
past.
walk. Your knees have gone. Back's fucked. OAP.
Yeah. Forget
for you.
about it.
Over
Shoulder
the hill.
driven, you can't do it anymore. Bad knees,
Over,
sciatica.
over the rainbow
everything.
rib. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
I'm seeing Mitrovic is free. He's not showing up on my list here, but I thought he was still under contract.
I think
I
he is.
thought
isn't
they
he?
were happy to
wanted
let him
rid
go.
though, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they were happy to release him from his contract.
Yeah.
So that's still might be
I
wrong.
would take a stab at Mitrovic. I mean, we're like a fucking graveyard for past and present, aren't we? So we might as well, Mitrovic. I don't know how old is he now? Is he ancient as well? Is he 30?
Oh yeah, he
33.
must be knocking on.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, it must be
Never
knocking on. But this is an interesting one, and I would be inclined to take a punt on this one. Just because I thought he was world class throughout his playing career. Christian Eriksen. Now he's only 33.
Okay.
only 33.
I don't think that's bad. You look at James Milner's 39 years old.
No. As long as he's in good condition.
Yeah. I'd take
No
a
Red
punt
Bull.
on it, like.
No Red Bull,
would-
Christian.
No. Ticker.
Yeah, that is one I would be.
Make sure we got some
potentially-
jump leads and on bench.
Mitrovic is 30.
Is that all he is?
Well, that's not too
Bloody
bad.
hell. Oh, yeah, get him in. Like, he's only on 400 grand a week.
There's a couple more on here that ring alarm bells. Emmanuel Dennis, he was a championship player at best, wasn't he? Who else is further down here? I know it's Daniel Amate, but he's a centre back who was at Leicester. Who was the other one I saw earlier? And I was like, Dele Alli, just been released
Yeah.
again.
Fucking
Dunno.
hell, no.
Pay as you play.
Absolute-
Goal bonus, all that
no,
jazz.
No. Rather have Tyler
Oh
Roberts back.
No.
But
Absolutely not.
unfortunately, lads, if we are going to complete a full squad and have that is the market, that is the only market we could be looking in now for our next or final signing of the season.
You're absolutely
which is,
right.
in itself, it's a joke, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Jay says this talk of over 30s has sent Carl's anxiety through the roof. He has. He'd be kicking himself.
Yeah.
He'd be swiping
Yeah.
left if it were Tinder, wouldn't you, Carl?
Oh,
No,
man, I'd be
no,
deleting it.
Fuck that.
No, I
too old.
completely agree, Scooby. I'm not signing Eriksen to be a pressing machine. I'm signing Eriksen to come on when we're 1-0 down with 20 minutes to go and we get free
Could
kick
take
on
a
the
set
edge of the
piece.
box. Exactly. Take corners. You know, we're not asking him to run miles and miles. Just find those pockets of space, flick the ball on, do a Pablo job. And I know Pablo did press, and he's probably pressing goes a little bit unnoticed when Pablo was here, but just be that player that's that class above, really, I suppose, is probably the best way of putting it.
Oh, Jesus.
We kind of need him to be like a Luka Modric type scenario, coming on and just influencing the game for 20 minutes and having a good effect on it. Like, but he's probably on stupid wages as well, sure. And if we can't even sign Harry Wilson, how the fuck are we going to do that? Like,
yeah, Daryl, a lot of votes for Ziyech in the comments. I don't know where he went. Did he go play in Qatar or something? Didn't he? Did he go to Turkey and then Qatar or somewhere like that? I'm pretty sure he went to. In fact, he might have even gone to Galascom and then out to fucking Saudi or Qatar. I could be wrong.
Well, that's definitely a no, then, isn't it?
here, look, Daryl, the psychic, sees Calvin Phillips coming back. Is that like in a crystal ball or on tarot cards? Or
I think you need to go to Specsavers if you can see Calvin coming back, Daryl.
yeah.
I can't see it at all.
No, like I said, his foot was in a boot at the Kaiser Chiefs. He's not.
He'll be going somewhere either abroad or going to lower leagues. He will never play in Premier League again. Calvin Phillips.
Yeah, he did
No.
go to Galascum and then to Al Dujail, whoever
Yeah,
they
fuck
are.
that then.
I'm guessing
Fuck
they're
that.
probably Saudi or whatever. Duhail.
Who was that? Mitrovic?
No, we're talking about Ziyech, I think.
Ziyech, cool, yeah.
So, anything else to add, lads? I know it's been we've rambled somehow for an hour there.
Have we been going on? Christ, an hour and
yeah,
5.
about shit, really. But thank you ever so much for everyone for joining. I know you just wanted to. I couldn't get it in the brand quick enough, Smarty. But I know you ran a poll earlier, didn't you?
Oh, I did, yeah. It was just on that, asking people how they think that the window went. I'll go through options now, to be fair. I just said, how is everyone feeling after less than satisfactory into the window? The options were satisfied, good start, poor finish, bloody hell, I can't even speak, apocalyptically angry, and fuck off Leeds. And in first place, you'll be surprised to find is fuck off Leeds. Second place, good start, poor finish. Not many people voting for satisfied, so there you go. But I think we all knew that anyway, didn't we?
Yeah. People have spoken.
Go on.
No, I just said the people have spoken.
The people have spoken. Just a couple more comments quickly then. Paul Brennan says, both sets of fans paying a fantastic tribute to Gary Speed. Rest in peace, Gary. Sets of fans who absolutely love Gary, and respect to the Magpies for that.
Well, a group of them. It took them a while to get going as well, as it tends to be the case with them.
And then we started chanting about Alan Shearer, and they shut up really quick.
Yeah. No, because they started singing about Isaac, didn't we? And we joined out. We joined in with him. Isaac's a certain character, and then we started singing Shearer's a certain character, which they didn't like for some reason.
Yeah, took them a while to stop.
One last question then from Skip before we go, gents, and it is the question, I suppose. Do we have a good enough squad to stay up?
Ooh.
As long as we're hard to beat at the back and in midfield, I think we have as good a chance as 6 teams at the bottom of the league.
Yeah.
We just need to be hard to beat. If we can be, I take boring Arsenal 1-0 all season. I would. Not that it's going to happen, but if every game we got 1-0 and it was a win, I'd take it. I'd take it as long as we're hard to beat and we look like we're hard to beat. And that for me gives us as good a chance as, like I said, the 6 teams that should be and will be in and around that area of the table.
I think I agree. I think the foundation for the team has always been and will always be your defence. If you've got a good defence, you've got half a chance. And I think we are pretty defensively, apart from obviously when we played Arsenal. I think we'll be defensively a lot more solid. So yeah, I think, but like you say, I think we just need to rely on, unfortunately, other teams being worse than us, which I think there probably is, to be fair. But we'll see.
Yeah,
Calvin has had his contract terminated, Jack.
Has he?
Calvin did, yeah.
When did that happen?
Last week.
Oh,
Calvin Phillips.
Shit.
That's why people are on about getting him back. Yeah, he's had he's mutually terminated his contract with City. They've paid him out. Done.
Oh.
That's news to me.
Me too.
I've put a poll in the chat. It seems to be people leaning towards yes, we do. So I'm happy to see that, because if you'd have asked me after Everton with 2 weeks left in the window, after that win, I would have said absolutely, because I thought we'd still done a bit of business. I am not so sure now. I will be brutally honest. I am not so sure. I think Clive here says it's not 1996, and I tend to agree with him. You need to be able to score some goals, so we are reliant on getting some goals from somewhere and something clicking and something happening. And if that can happen, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin can start firing, because look, he's getting in some good positions, albeit he's not scoring yet. He does look dangerous. So for me, I'm sitting on the fence, and I don't know. Ask me again after we've played Fulham and Wolves.
You're already rocking in your chair. That's not a good sign.
Yeah, I know. And I'm usually
okay, lads.
I'm usually the most positive, aren't I? Do you know what I mean? It's. I'm finding it very difficult to find any positives with the lack of attacking options. Not lack of attacking options, but lack of creative spark. We just don't seem to. Every team around us has seemed. West Ham have got a Jared Bowen. We haven't got that. We haven't got that.
I could be wrong about Calvin Phillips, by the way. I thought I'd seen that his contract had been mutually terminated, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I
But-
thought that would have been bigger news.
Well, no, it wouldn't because he's shit. No one cares about Calvin Phillips anymore.
There you go.
Yeah.
Except
So
some
there we
Leeds
are. Well,
fans.
I'll leave that poll running until next week and see if anybody else votes on it. But other than that, thank you everybody for joining us. We won't have a Brad and Coke this week, but we will hopefully be back next Tuesday for a pre-Fulham and maybe something a little bit different that Gilly's got up his sleeve. Who knows? You'll have to join us next.
Hope it's not another
Tuesday.
fucking shit intro video. It was actually on. I think it's the same three in it next week. It's us three again.
Yeah.
Sound best
Is
three.
it?
Yeah. So
Jesus,
you treat. So do give us a quick like, do subscribe, turn on notifications so you know when we are live, because we don't often know when we're live or who's live. And thank you ever so much for joining. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Toodles.
Sound too sure. Bye.